A very warm welcome once again. This is Tarun Amrasekara, your moderator for this afternoon's forum, the online business forum between Sri Lanka and Mongolia. And united we stand, divided we fall. This age-old, cliched, and sometimes even hackneyed phrase stands quite true today, more so than ever before. At a time that the world is going through a pandemic, at a time that business as we know it has been challenged and a new normal is settling in, it's very important that we as individual nations, as businesses, take the necessary steps to move forward in collaboration. Win-win is the only win which is sustainable, which will be successful, and which will help the world to emerge out of this pandemic stronger, better, and much improved than ever before. And this afternoon, forums such as these are indeed the baby steps that helps to bring the business communities and officials, delegates from different governments together, which will hopefully create and further empower dialogue between the nations and the businesses, which will help us to take our nation's economies, economic activities forward in a much more stronger manner. And we have a series and quite a very well experienced panel of speakers today for this forum, after which we will be quite happy to provide the platform and the opportunity for business members from different industries who are present here today and who will be represented, and they will be able to talk to each other and also create further collaborations. And without further delay, I would like to invite the first speaker of this forum, and that is none other than Mr. Gonchik Ganbot. He is a veteran in the field of foreign service with over 4 decades of experience. He has been the head of department for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia. Also, he has served in the Mongolian embassies of New Delhi, Washington, DC, and London. His contribution to the articles for print and electronic media has been translated in over dozens of books, including The Modi Effect by Lance Springs. So without further delay, it is my great privilege to invite and to open the forum for His Excellency Gonchik Ganbot, who is the ambassador for Mongolia. Ambassador, over to you. Auntie, can we have His Excellency the Ambassador Ganbol Gonchik, please?
I think he's muted.
No. Ambassador has to unmute.
We can't hear him.
Yeah.
Ambassador, can you unmute your microphone?
But if you could unmute your mic.
I already unmute.
You're on mute now.
We don't do anything. We will unmute him.
Okay.
Now you're on. Please speak.
Still, we are unable to hear the ambassador. Can you please unmute the microphone?
Ambassador's mic is muted.
Am I audible now? Hello?
Yes, Your Excellency, we can hear you. You're audible.
Good. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So, Your Excellency, Mr. KK Yoganandan, Acting Ambassador, and Madam Mia Mikik, Director, PEAT, UN ESCAP, and friends, good afternoon. I'm pleased to take part in the Mongolian Sri Lankan Business Forum, co-hosted by the Sri Lankan Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce and Industries, as well as in collaboration with PEAD, UN SCAP. Mongolia and Sri Lanka are brothers in Dharma, connected through teachings of Lord Buddha. Mongolia is on the northern fringe of Buddhist Asia, while Sri Lanka is sitting in the southernmost of the Buddhist Asia. Though we are far away from one another in geographical distance, we are closer in hearts and feelings. Sri Lanka was fondly referred to as a land of share or land of lines in our ancient books and maps. Apart from Dharma, we are common in common values, shared values, including democracy. This year, both Mongolia and Sri Lanka have had parliamentary elections, preceded by the elections for their president. And we are also in market economy, committed to Millennium Developmental Goal. And over 70% of Mongolian GDP is contributed by the private sector. Mongolia is a landlocked, but Sri Lanka is an island nation. Both are proximate to big markets, and we are on the big roads, international trade roads. And both of our peoples are peace-loving and hardworking, comparatively well-educated and young. We are peace-loving nations and maintain very good relations with countries in their respective regions. I see today's business forum, which is indeed first business forum on bilateral basis, indicates interest shown by the business people and community in Sri Lanka shown to Mongolia. And it yields us opportunity to exchange of views on areas where we can work together effectively, and we also learn from one another. As an ambassador, I look forward to the mutually beneficial cooperation that contributes to our economic growth. Since 1990, Mongolia's impact on paths of democracy and market economy, with access to the WTO in 1997, Mongolia substantively liberalized its trade and investment regime and set up 5% import duties. Major tax reforms were made in 2006, which reduced tax rates, flattened tax schedules, removed discriminatory exemptions, improved business environment. In short, they introduced deduction of opportunities for corporate investment. As a result, Mongolia has become one of the liberal economies with open trade regimes. Being a developing economy, Mongolia exports primarily commodities such as minerals, agricultural products, which accounts 90% of our export. However, government of Mongolia pursues policy for encouraging processing industries that produce value-added end products. Mongolia enjoys preferential tariff under the GSP scheme of USA, European Union, Canada, and we also concluded free trade agreement with Japan and contemplating another one with Republic of Korea. We formally acceded to APTA, Asia Pacific Trade Agreement, as its 7th member. I hope it will facilitate our trade and economic exchange with participating states, especially with Sri Lanka. We could increase our bilateral trade, investments, by using the growing opportunities unleashed today by globalization. I think a lot of products of Sri Lanka, such as tea, apparels, textiles, and gemstones, could be very high demand in Mongolian market. Mongolia is richly endowed with mineral resources, and more than that, we have over 8,000 mineral deposits and reservoirs, big or small, and including gold, silver, uranium, fluorspar, zinc, phosphate, iron ore, coking coal, etc. And some 400 of these deposits are being operated, utilized by big companies. Northern American and Australian companies are working, and Mongolians also working shoulder to shoulder. Mongolia offers a range of tax concessions for export-oriented industries. Investment is encouraged, and a few sectors, as I would mention: mining and oil exploration, agriculture and agro-industries, infrastructure and ITC, and tourism. For your information, we are working with countries in South Asia, in particular India, on big projects like oil refinery. So last 2 weeks, we had to arrange special flights to send the engineers and managers of India to Mongolia, despite of current lockdown caused by pandemic. By the way, both Mongolia and Sri Lanka are overcoming this current challenge of pandemic. So far in Mongolia, we don't have any local transmission, but imported for 340 some cases. So we are very much upbeat mood to overcome this ongoing challenge. Despite pandemic and prolonged lockdown, we are projecting and very solid economic growth in coming years. Therefore, investors and business people, those used to work on market research and planning, now setting up their offices and initiating the real meaningful projects. Just recently, the companies such as EIL and JMC of India and other countries also set up their offices, outposts, and very much hopeful to enlarge their activities. So Sri Lanka should not lag behind, given our very long-standing friendly relations. And we are also working together, not only on bilateral, but also on multilateral forums. So Colombo Plan is one of the areas where we usually work together. Asia-Africa Legal Consultative Organizations. This is responsible for maintaining contacts with participating countries in these international and regional forums. In conclusion, let me also express my firm confidence that the first ever business forum between Sri Lanka and Mongolian business people would become kind of impetus to further enlarging our relations and cooperation in the field of trade and economy. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not very sure that audio is well.
We can hear you, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
Ambassador Gonchig, thank you very much for your sentiments, Your Excellency. I think you set the right tone for the start of this business forum. I'm intrigued and quite amazed by how you connected with the mutual aspect of Buddhism, which goes beyond social, but into cultural implications between the two countries. And thank you for that invitation with open arms for our industries to come and work together with the Mongolian business community, and also for shedding some insights on the industries that the two countries could work together on. Thank you very much for those opening remarks, Your Excellency, and thank you once again for being with us. Ayubowan. As the ambassador mentioned earlier, I think the two countries indeed have quite a good opportunity to show the rest of the world that size does not matter when it comes to being an economic success story in the global economic map. Both Sri Lanka and Mongolia are despite having their own unique challenges, at a very important center point of this economic journey where we could break through and be examples for the rest of the world. To speak more about this and to set the tone for the rest of this business forum, it is my honor to invite for further opening remarks the Charge d'Affaires of the Embassy of Sri Lanka to the People's Republic of China, His Excellency Yoganandan Kandasamy, who is a Grade 1 officer of the Sri Lanka Foreign Service. He has also served in the East Asia and Pacific Division, South Asia and SAARC Division, Overseas Administration Division, Public Diplomacy Division, and the Consular Division of the Ministry of Foreign Relations of Sri Lanka. Once again, we are having one veteran being followed by the other. Your Excellency Yogananda, over to you.
Thank you, Karintu. I hope all the participants could hear me. I'm here with my Minister, Commercial, Mr. Alexi Kunasegara. Let me begin by congratulating the organizers. It's a challenging time. Sri Lanka is facing a challenging time right now. Even though we are facing a challenging time, it is very important that we keep connected. And Excellency, Ambassador of Mongolia to Sri Lanka, Excellency, even though you are based in Delhi, you are also Ambassador to Sri Lanka. Happy to see you, and we are very pleased to hear you the positive words about the connecting our religion, Buddhism, as well as the opportunities available for both countries to engage in business and investment. Let me also congratulate Mongolia for joining the APTA recently, and hope that by beginning of next year, it will create an opportunity for the APTA members to do more business under the agreement. So we all can get the benefit. The member countries of APTA can get the benefits by joining you in the APTA. We hope that will create and open a new opportunity for both Sri Lanka and you, and also other members to engage more businesses. Also, by looking at the detail given to me, we can see that even though we have more opportunities, until now, the business figures shows that very less. So that tells us indirectly that we need to engage more and more. We had to do business more and more. And we had to also invite investors from both sides. Sri Lanka investors to Sri Lanka, Mongolia investors to Sri Lanka to invest in many fields and many opportunities which are open up for both countries. We also know that Your Excellency mentioned that you also enjoy the GSP plus benefit. Sri Lanka also enjoying the GSP plus benefit. And you also mentioned that Mongolia has signed a few FTAs and you are getting benefit out of it. I also would like to mention similarly, Sri Lanka also has signed FTAs with India. We have FTAs with all SAARC member countries, the SAARC FTA. Also, we have an FTA with Singapore, and now we are negotiating an FTA with China. So we don't know how long it will take for the FTA with China, but we are engaging in negotiation. So I would like to tell the businessmen and business ladies in Mongolia that if you want to do business with Sri Lanka, you can reach out the huge market in South Asia, because we can export and under the SAPTA FTA, we can reach out all the SAARC countries, and also the huge market, 1.3 billion market, the India across the border. So we can reach out India also under the FTA. So we have another FTA with Singapore that also can be benefited. Let me also, without taking much more time, to tell you the opportunity available in Sri Lanka for investment. Now we are building up a port city in Colombo, the commercial capital, which is available and open for investment. Also, we have another opportunity in the Hambantota industrial zone for many sectors to be invested. So also we have many other sectors in tourism, road building, and also many other infrastructure projects. So we invite with open heart Mongolia businessmen and investors. We are ready to welcome you in Sri Lanka for doing business and investing. So let me conclude by congratulating the organizers. I sincerely believe that this webinar will be a successful webinar and will be an opening for both businesses and investors to engage in dialogue. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for those very progressive and positive sentiments. Also, a big thank you to the Honorable Minister for being there in person as well. And I believe both the ambassadors have clearly set the tone for the right direction in which trade should take place, how our countries can move forward together in this regard. Thank you for those very positive sentiments to both the ambassadors, and I believe that we are on the right path and the right track to strengthen ties between the two nations. Next, to speak about the Asia-Pacific Trade Agreement opportunities and challenges, it is my great privilege to invite Madam Mia Mikik, who is the Director of Trade and Investment and Innovation Division of UNESCAP from Bangkok. Dr. Mia Mikik is the Director for Trade, Investment and Innovation Division in the United Nations ESCAP. She also coordinates the Asia Pacific Research and Training Network, or also known as ARTNET, which is an open network of research and academic institutions and think tanks in the Asia Pacific region, and covering all key means of implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. Previously, she was the Professor of International Economics at the University of Zagreb and the Senior Lecturer at the University of Auckland. A personality who is enriched with both academic and in-field experience, it is our great pleasure and privilege to hear from you. Madam Mia Mikik, over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Tarindu. This is a great introduction, and I hope I will meet your expectations. You have put a challenge in front of me, and I thank and I thank their excellencies, ambassadors and charge d'affaires for excellent introduction and for setting the tone for this, indeed, the first business Sri Lanka, Mongolia online business forum. And from our part, from ESCAP, it is really our both pleasure and privilege to be invited to participate in it. And we definitely hope that we will be invited to also witness the progress and achievements in both of these countries in terms of using trade as a means of implementation of sustainable development. Since my time is limited, I have prepared a set of slides that I hope can help us in going through certain features and descriptions of this agreement that Mongolia just joined. So if you allowed me, I will share my screen. I hope I can do that. And hopefully you can see it. I hope you can see it in the presentation mode now. Silence
yes, Dr. Mia, we can see.
Okay, silence is golden, so I will take it like that. So just a very simple presentation. I will, for those that are not familiar with the agreement, because even though this is the oldest agreement in the continent, Maybe some are not familiar, and then I'll go into a little bit of relationship between the countries under the APTA. And I think what is most important is really to look at what are the challenges towards the future and forward-looking sort of discussion. And so hopefully that will also open the floor for the other panelists to be able to lean into it. So what is APTA? Actually, it started in 1975 under the name of Bangkok Agreement, and it had 5 original members. China joined in 2001. However, it had 2 other signatories then at that time, Thailand and Philippines. And these countries never joined Bangkok Agreement because at the same time, there was a process of through ASEAN, through Southeast Asia Association, and so then they opted to stay in that particular bloc. At that time, it was more of a political association than the trade bloc. This agreement is an open agreement in a sense that it invites all developing countries of Asia and the Pacific to, if willing, apply for membership. And I will explain a little bit later what that means if there are any questions on that. But since both Sri Lanka and Mongolia are now in the agreement, I think these sorts of questions are not so relevant anymore. The role of ESCAP is really as a secretariat there. So we are facilitating the work of member states in the process of implementing and further negotiation of this agreement. It is a very special agreement. It's not only the oldest one, but it was set as something that we called preferential trade agreement with a partial scope, and as such, of course, it has a special place in GATT and WTO, where the countries that are members of WTO have to actually notify their other trade agreements. So this particular agreement is utilizing the possibility to be notified through so-called enabling clause, which is especially dedicated for the developing countries within the WTO, and therefore it doesn't have to fulfill the Article 24 special sort of criteria for breaching, if I may say so, the most favored nation, the principle of GATT, right? As we are moving now on with the extension of the agreement into other areas, we will have to actually fulfill a little bit more stringent criteria of the WTO, but this is still down the road, and let me not speak more about that. What does it mean to be a partial scope agreement? That means that actually, in contrast to what we know as a free trade agreement, this one does not have to cover all goods or in terms of the manufacturing or merchandise liberalization, as it is the case in FTA. It can select the list of items, we call it a concession list, or a positive list of products on which the negotiation will take place. And so the negotiation itself or liberalization itself is focused then on not removing the tariffs to zero, which is again another feature of the free trade agreement, but to gradually reduce the tariff that is applied among the members of APTA. And the benchmark of that reduction is the current most favored nation tariff in the WTO that these countries have been negotiating in. And so basically the outcome of the liberalization process is to achieve so-called margin of preference, which is the difference between the current MFN duty, which all the members of the WTO apply among themselves, and the duty that is actually then applied only among APTA members. Currently, across all the members of this agreement, the duties that are applied are the results of the 4th round of negotiations, and the margin of preference there varies, of course, between country to country, because it is negotiated bilaterally between the countries. Sri Lanka is giving 21% margin of preference, India 34%, etc. I will get to the Mongolia in a moment. We are now currently in the 5th round, and so while original ambition was to perhaps cut a little bit deeper into this margin of preference, or perhaps also move to elimination of some tariffs. Given that the agreement includes 2 least developed countries, which is Bangladesh and Laos, the current sort of ambition of the 5th round of negotiation is not that deep. So this is the feature of the agreement, and the agreement is one that is what we call a living agreement, because every next round of liberalization is trying to add a little bit more of market access through this cutting of tariffs and goods, but also a little bit more of other elements that can enable trade among the members, whether it is improvement of implementation by looking at how to facilitate the exchange of documents, moving to electronic certificates of origin, etc., or to actually add substantively new parts of the agreements, such as services, investment, trade facilitation, etc. So now in the 5th round, we are concurrently working through the working groups on these 3 new areas: services, investment facilitation, and trade facilitation, particularly the digital trade facilitation, that should definitely, when complemented with the further reduction on the tariffs on goods, could make this agreement much more useful for businesses to use. The timeline of APTA, let me not dwell a lot on that one. You can look at later on through our either website or this presentation. But this journey from 1975 has not been simple, and it's not simple now, because the countries that are members of APTA have faced a number of crises, and collectively, while in Asia trade has been an engine of growth, in some of these countries, because of their unilateral sort of positions towards trade, it wasn't always easy to embrace further trade liberalization. But this is where we are, and we are very, very pleased that the membership finally has been extended to have seven countries, to include Mongolia. And Mongolia is another country that in principle should be really embracing trade as the instrument of development, because it is a landlocked, it is relatively small, it is both blessed and burdened by its natural endowments of raw of minerals and natural resources, and it's sandwiched between very large powers in Asia. So these type of economies are definitely always seen as benefiting from having opportunity to work with other countries to increase the opportunities for investment and business. So let me just very briefly say a little bit about Mongolian current trade. It is, of course, very concentrated, not only because of the geographical position, but also, as I said, the endowment of country in terms of natural resources. So the partners in trade are very few, and China is, of course, the largest partner, while some of trade, of course, is done with Europe, about 10–11%, while with other countries in other continents, it's relatively little or really symbolic. In terms of the sectors and goods that are traded, as I said, they are driven by the endowments. So most of trade is really locked into the mineral sector, or natural resources, as we say. And while there is some processing in textile and apparel, or in terms of agricultural products, it is still not significant enough to change this unidirectional structure of export. On the other hand, import, of course, is driven by the needs of the country to not only not only be, but also to prosper and grow. So if you are looking at how do you diversify economy, how do you digitize economy, and how do you spread the or build the infrastructure, all of that is very much dependent on imports. And so this is how your structure of imports then definitely show those needs in terms of machinery and the infrastructural goods, as well as some of the essential goods that belong to food group. The journey to APTA membership was long. It started in 2009, and as you know, it was completed just this year formally by submission of the instrument, and we are very happy that this was done in this year that seems to be so difficult and has so few good news. And so this was one of those positive news that we could report. In terms of the potential of APTA and where the economies are, of course, with two giant economies of China and India within APTA, these others seem to be quite Lilliput and small, right? But comparing them, Sri Lanka and Mongolia, you can see that in terms of the GDP per capita, in terms of the purchasing power, they sit relatively close to each other, even though they are, as His Excellency said, they are very far apart geographically, and in terms, of geographical features. One is island, one is landlocked economy. But this purchasing power is there, and we definitely hope that it will feed into the exploration of businesses of how they can actually build connections and expand on the business relations and trade and investment between these two economies. Of course, potential is in other APTA members, and there is definitely the case or the fact that accession of China has increased the trade and activity under or within the APTA membership tremendously. And despite the change in China orientation announced this year towards the dual circulation that would imply more focus on the domestic demand, we still hope that the relationship and the compact among the APTA members will allow for expansion of trade under APTA. We have already commented on the size of trade with other members, and let me just now focus a little bit more about the potential of APTA. So As said, it is partial scope agreement, meaning that it is not all trade involved currently, because countries have a slightly different classification of merchandise and between 8 and 10 digit of harmonized classification. We have aggregated a number of products, if you may call them like that, that is just over 10,000, and we are hoping that that will increase by about 50% in this current round of negotiations. This margin of preference as well now sit in on average being 30% should also increase and cut the most favored nation a little bit deeper than this. So what does Mongolia offer to Sri Lanka? We have put the list of products that offer concessions in terms of tariffs on our website, so you can please look at that. I apologize that it is currently in the PDF format, so it's not easily searchable, but because the list is not that long, it is still relatively simple to find the products of interest. And the current margin of preference is just under 25%. We hope that the fifth round of negotiations will give more confidence to Mongolia to expand both margin of preference and the number of products, and so hopefully that will be so, and will be helping both Mongolia and other countries to reach that goal. The implementation of Mongolia's accession terms will start with the 1st of January for all the countries except India, because India has still not confirmed that date as the date of implementation. But because after the accession, the implementation can actually start bilaterally between peers of countries, we don't have to have all countries involved. So from the 1st of January, Mongolia will be able to trade with all the other 5 participating states based on the concessions that they have negotiated and the margin of preference that was negotiated. And this trade is done under very simple rules of origin. And the reason I mentioned that is that other agreements that were mentioned and that we know about, and I have a picture about those, tend to be more complicated for the business to actually trade. So let me put it very simply: the trade agreement is as good as the rules of origin are, and the good rules of origin are simple, transparent, easy to follow, and not costly to actually document. And so in some of the agreements, there is problematic for small business to actually prove that they can actually utilize the preferential tariff. And so in many cases, they just forgo to do that and use the most favored nation tariff and pay actually higher tariff than they should, simply because the savings from going through the process of proving their standing under the agreement is too costly, complicated, time consuming, etc. We are trying now to see how to still improve this by using digital processing, and we already have the possibilities to use electronic certificate of country of origin. So hopefully that will expand over the whole membership of APTA, and that would definitely simplify the process. In terms of business, the opportunities are there because it's not only that you can export and import products with lower tariffs or lower barriers, but you can also find, as it was hinted in the opening remarks, maybe new routes for or new markets through the connections with the businesses that are counterparts in other APTA members. It's not as simple, and I can talk about it later through the maybe questions and answers, because these rules of origin actually come into play when this is tried to be implemented. It is also very important to use this as a ticket towards increasing investments, and as well as also building trust in relationship between the players in the market. So I don't need to convince businesses where the benefits come from. Obviously, they study the markets and they know very well. But we definitely hope that developing the opportunities will, bear fruit, and that it will not be only the business benefits at the level of the companies, but also it will then expand to the level of a country and will provide the jobs that is very important, and will provide business connectivity in the longer term, which is, as it was shown through COVID, very important, because when you have trusted relationship, whether there are company to company or through the more complex network of the supply chains, then it is much easier to go through the crisis period than if that trusted relationship does not exist. So let me now finish. I'm aware of the time as well, with a few comments on the challenges in the future. One of the challenge really is that all of the countries that are involved in APTA have other type of agreements. And some of them are bilateral free trade agreements that are much more sophisticated and comprehensive than APTA is. Some are regional, like SAPTA, and of course Laos is involved in other type of agreements through ASEAN, and very often this is seen as perhaps the barrier in seeing the potential of APTA, because if you have and let me give a very very concrete example. You have bilateral trade agreement, free trade agreement between Sri Lanka and India. So most of trade that is happening between Sri Lanka and India is happening under that agreement, not under SAPTA or not under APTA agreement. And likewise for some other cases, for example, China gives a very special preferences to the least developed countries like Bangladesh, and so most of trade between Bangladesh and China would, or export of Bangladesh to China will go under these unilateral preferences, not under preferences of APTA. But what is important is if you actually want to export from Korea to a product that needs to be processed somewhat in Sri Lanka and then go to India, then you would need to use this particular arrangement, because otherwise you would not be qualifying in these separate agreements for any preferences. So while the existence of these other agreements can be seen as a barrier, and often are, they can we can also see that APTA brings together all the countries and can afford market access that is actually wider than any single one of these other arrangements. And therefore, it actually sends a message that deepening of APTA could be very beneficial to and working on the rules of origin to be more cumulative based rather than they are now, can actually afford many more benefits. Another barrier that this multiplicity of regional trade agreements actually bring is that trade officials are always in short supply in many countries. And so if there are many other distractions, right, then they afford little time to something that they either feel very comfortable with because it's not problematic like APTA, or they see it not as fastly expanding as these other agreements. And so very often we see a somewhat a very slow reaction to the matters that need to be done under APTA as compared to attention being claimed by these other agreements. So where do we see APTA going in future? We see it actually having a great potential to grow into what we call comprehensive partnership economic agreement that would have much more than trade in goods or trade in services or investment. It can actually go into picking up the agreements that are already being worked out through membership of these very same countries in ESCAP, in transport, in area of digital trade, in area of energy connectivity, in terms of mobility of people, and definitely in terms of technology and innovation, or the exchange of technology and ideas, which can complement the potential for growth of all of these countries. These mechanisms exist, and all of these countries are part of some of these. So the thing is, or the task is to see how do we leverage these, how do we put them together and try to actually build everything into one single whole. So I hope I have explained some of the features. Further details are available on our website. We issue very often some notes to the negotiators under, or focal points under APTA, and I would like to draw your attention to one of those notes that was issued at the onset of COVID pandemic. We have actually started immediately on what sort of barriers exist among APTA states on the products in the category of medical goods or essential products, and unfortunately they are rather high. And for example, that would be one area of an urgent attention, I would say, among the APTA members, going all the way down to eliminating these barriers so that they can enhance the exchange in the products that are really important in dealing with pandemic. So we stand ready to help countries do that as soon as they signify, send a signal that they would like to work on that particular item or anything else that they deem to be very important at the current time. So let me stop here. I apologize, Mr. Tarindu, for taking more time than it was allocated. I just thought I should provide some more details than perhaps can be read off the slides. So thank you very much, and I will stop sharing now so that you can see the normal screen. Thank you.
Dr. Mia, thank you once again for those very valuable thoughts, and please, no apology needed. You were sharing some very good inputs which are quite valuable for this region, and especially for Sri Lanka and Mongolia. I like to throw in a little question here, Dr. Mia. Now, in an ideal world, international trade agreements such as APTA are meant for a win-win situation for all countries, where all countries who participate become winners, because through collaboration we grow. But my question to you is, over the last few years and decades, there has been an echoing complaint, an echoing nagging saying that international trade and trade agreements such as APTA tend to create two segments, those who benefit and those who don't benefit from it, the winners and losers. Basically, if you take, let's be very honest and frank here, even between Sri Lanka and Mongolia, the tree than the other. My question to you is, yes, it depends, because we have officials from both countries who are involved, business community members and officials who will be involved in this discussion. My question to you is, what should countries take when entering into these trade negotiations so that it results in a win-win situation for both countries? What's the mindset to have? What should they look out for? What are your thoughts?
Thank you very much. You know, I would start by saying very firmly that trade is always a part of a solution. It's not a problem. And even in this COVID situation, you know, you can look at the situation that it was emerging in many countries with the shortage of, say, medical products, masks, ventilators, etc. And many tended to say this was a problem because of the supply chain breakage. But the problem was actually not there. The problem was that in, you know, the health sectors in many countries were totally unprepared and not ready. Most of the countries actually depend on, in very small percentage in terms of the imports of these products. And it was really breaking the supply within the country in the localized processing and a simple fact that people were asked to be locked down and not to move to the either production or transport or whatever facilities that happened. And so most of the breakages actually did not happen because of international trade. They happened because of unpreparedness of the local or national governments, and in particular health sectors, right? It is true that trade always creates winners and losers. So does any policy change. If you change a tax rate in a country, it will create winners and losers. The problem is, how do you balance these, and how do you actually stop deepening inequalities? How do you properly redistribute the gains from those winners and put it to use to the losers, right? And how do you not fall into the trap of continuously fulfilling the demands of those that are loudest and have vested interest to request special treatment, and have your eyes set to the wider community and those that are really in need to be helped, right? So trade is a very good instrument, very good tool in making that happen. It just needs to be used wisely, and instead of you know, falling into the trap of inward looking and closing the borders, the solution is actually to diversifying and to try to get involved in international relations in many more items and with many more partners, because that will give you then a guarantee that you will be resilient, because you will not be depending on one, which can very often happen if you are inward oriented. The possibility of then being dependent on the national monopoly is much higher than when you have actually very established and diverse relationship with many countries. So I would say that the argument that trade agreements cause winners and losers is true. Any policy does, but the question is, how do you actually deal with that? And the responsibility of that is at the local, is a national government. Thank you.
Very valid thoughts indeed, Dr. Mia. Thank you for that. And as you very correctly said, any policy decision, any policy change can always create winners and losers. It's up to the officials, it's up to the authorities, it's up to everyone involved to do it wisely so that it benefits both countries. I think some excellent sentiments shared there. Thank you very much. At this juncture, before we move on to our next distinguished speaker of this afternoon, I would like to request all our delegates, all our members who are on the forum right now to switch on their cameras so that we can take a group picture. I believe our technology partner cord360 will be able to get everyone on the screen in a gallery view so that we can have the group picture taken. Thank you once again, Dr. Mia, for those sentiments and thoughts. Very well done. Thank you. Hi, can we have everyone's all the cameras on? And I believe, Ayanti, can we get a gallery view of everyone so that we can take the group picture? All right, so let me just take a few multiple screenshots. All right, I think we have everyone covered. I believe we have everyone covered. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Mia. Moving on with the agenda, there is a slight change. Do we have Ms. Amgalan Batwiag, who is the head of foreign relations for the Mongolia National Chamber of Commerce and Industries? Do we have?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Yeah. Good evening.
Hello, Amgalan. So Ms. Amgalan Batwiag is the head of foreign relations for the Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce and Industries, who is here to speak to us about the current business landscape and the potential opportunities that Sri Lankan business could venture into with Mongolia in the upcoming months and the time period ahead. Ms. Amgalan, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Tarinder. On behalf of Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I would like to extend cordial greetings to all participants of today's business forum. And I would like to apologize as well that our senior advisor to the president of the MNCCI, Mr. Turot, wasn't able to participate on today's business forum because he had an urgent mission to countryside. Therefore, to be honest, I also apologize for that. I really haven't get prepared and followed up with him regarding on the subject that he has supposed to make a speech. But I would like to have a general greetings to all of you. The Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce is a unique network of businesses and an effective representative body of the businesses of all shapes and sizes across Mongolia. It works in an active, transparent, and efficient manner to improve the business environment and to make business opportunities in Mongolia accessible and beneficial for all companies and interested investors. MNCCI is actively engaged in fostering new business opportunities and improvement of legal framework for businesses by working closely with public sector to facilitating an effective public-private sector dialogue, ensuring the voices, priorities, and concerns of the private sectors are heard in the corridors of power. We are also an active member of the International Chamber of Commerce and World Chambers Federation since early 90s. We work in partnership with over 100 organizations in over 100 countries, as well as with business and political leaders to support and connect companies, bringing together businesses to build new relationships, share best practices, foster new opportunities, and provide practical support to help member businesses trade locally, nationally, and globally. We have made significant progress in the recent years in improving the business environment, bringing together businesses, supporting and connecting companies, and we will work in close collaboration in partnership with the Federation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry of Sri Lanka to foster new business opportunities and new achievements. And we look forward to develop the trade and economic ties between Mongolia and Sri Lanka as well. Thank you very much, and wishing you a good day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Amgalan Batuyak, for those sentiments, and thank you for indeed being here on a short notice, and we truly value your presence and you being here with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Next, I would like to take a great privilege in inviting our next speaker, who is Mrs. Shirley Jayawardena. Mrs. Shirley is a product of the Central Province Women's Chamber of Small Industry and Commerce and the Central Province Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And she took over the presidency of the Federation Chamber of Commerce and Industry Sri Lanka, the apex body of the Chamber, Sri Lankan Chamber Movement, at the 45th Annual General Membership Meeting held on the 6th of March 2020. And it is quite significant and historic, since this is the first time that a lady, a female entrepreneur, women entrepreneur, has taken over the presidency since its establishment in 1973. Mrs. Shirley Jayawardena is a long-standing and a well-known chamber activist in Sri Lanka and also in the SAARC region, and has served as the Senior Vice President of FCCISL, the Vice President of the South Asian Women's Development Forum in Nepal, and Executive Committee member of the SAARC Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Pakistan. With that introduction, it is my deep honor to invite Ms. Shirley Jayawardena to take the forum. Ms. Shirley, over to you.
Thank you for your introduction. Good afternoon to all of you. It is my great pleasure to join this webinar aiming at promoting and developing trade and investment relationships between Mongolia and Sri Lanka. Of course, both countries are somewhat strangers to each other, and at this point of time, very negligible amount of trade and investments are happening between the two countries. Therefore, we would say that this is the first attempt by the private sector to introduce both countries to each other formally. FCCI has been the apex body of the Sri Lankan Chamber Movement, would like to offer belated anniversary celebrations to Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce and Industries for completing 65 years of service to the nation in last September. Let me introduce economy of Sri Lanka briefly to you. We are a country of 65,000 square kilometers and strategically located in Indian Ocean with GDP of USD 90 billion. Sri Lanka has a service-dominated economy to which small and medium enterprise contribute around 55%. Our main exports are apparel, tea, IT, spices, gem and jewelry, rubber-related products, coconut oil, and furniture. Sri Lanka government introduced the National Export Strategy in 2019, which aggregates and consolidates national priorities as well as major high-level priorities from each sector and their trade support functions into a coherent framework. Accordingly, information communication technology, business process outsourcing services, wellness tourism, boating industry, electrical and electronics, processed food and beverages, spices and concentrates are our focus areas. Sri Lanka is surrounded by 8 times bigger sea area, which is called exclusive economic zone, and has a right to go up to 23 times bigger continental seabed in the future. All these factors may contribute to Sri Lankan economy in a bigger way in the future. FCCI would like to congratulate Mongolian government on their formal acceptance of Asia-Pacific Trade Agreement in last September. This, of course, provides many opportunities for both countries to engage in trade and investment. The Asia-Pacific Trade Agreement, APTA, previously known as the Bangkok Agreement and renamed on 2nd November 2005, was signed in 1975. It is the oldest preferential trade agreement between countries in the Asia-Pacific region. Previously, 6 participating states, Bangladesh, China, India, Laos, Republic of Korea, and Sri Lanka were the parties to the APTA. Under APTA, Sri Lanka has given a special concession list of 75 items to developing countries such as Mongolia and duty concessions for 568 items under the general concession list. Altogether, both lists cover a wide range of products of Mongolian origin to enter into Sri Lankan markets. We also understand Mongolia too has a national list of duty concessions to Sri Lanka, and well, we will soon conduct awareness programs for Sri Lankan business community in the future. Sri Lanka is a gateway to Indian subcontinent and has signed up 2 free trade agreements with India and Pakistan respectively. Under these agreements, well over 4,000 tariff lines enjoy duty-free status with an average value of addition rate of 35%. I would also like to state that even the country like Singapore, which is ranked number 2 in the world productivity index, signed the FTA with Sri Lanka, which is a clear signal to the world that Sri Lanka is a worthy country for trade. Sri Lanka introduced a new Inland Revenue Act in 2018 and has simplified excise tax rules, making it open, stable, and transparent. Online submission of tax returns, insurance and certificate of origin, submission of documents to customs to digital platform are another set of conveniences offered by Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is ranked 2nd in region for starting business by doing business 2020, 2nd in the region for quality of infrastructure global competitiveness index 2019, ranks 2nd in the South Asia for protecting minority investors by doing business 2020, ranked 2nd in South Asia in the global competitiveness index in 2019, 1st in South Asia for human capital skills by global competitiveness index 2019, ranked 2nd in South Asia for Global Innovation Index 2019. Sri Lanka has the lowest power cost in South Asia by JETRO Survey 2019. Sri Lanka is also the 1st in South Asia for Healthcare Index 2019 and 1st in South Asia to cater to the latest triple E-class ships. And Sri Lanka has over 300,000 metric tons capacity dedicated for cargo handling services. Colombo port is among the top 25 world container ports in 2019. Sri Lanka has 3 international airports, international seaports, rapidly expanding road and expressway network, and has 13 export processing zones and industrial estates. In this backdrop, we are happy to say that Sri Lanka is well equipped to welcome foreign investors, and we would like to organize a trade delegation to Mongolia once the international travel restrictions are relaxed. Finally, I would like to say that Sri Lanka was very successful at controlling the COVID-19 pandemic and was ranked number 2 by World Health Organization. We see the current rise of COVID-19 in Sri Lanka is a temporary situation, and Sri Lanka will gain the control over the trend very soon. We wish all participants and both chambers good luck and success at B2B sessions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sharija Vardhana, for those wonderful thoughts and for sharing with all our participants the economic powers and the power that Sri Lanka, the potential that Sri Lanka has to offer. Madam, I would like to take this opportunity to ask you for the further enlightenment of some of the members, some of the participants who are participating here right now. What apart from tea, which seems to be our main export to Mongolia, any other industries you think that we have further potential to explore together with Mongolian businesses right now?
I think Tarindu can.
Is she on mute? I believe
Ah,
she's
yes,
on mute.
sorry. About wool, I know Mongolia has wool, you know, and if an investor could come up with a joint venture with an apparel company in Sri Lanka, it could be value added in Sri Lanka and exported to the US. It's one of the products I think I have heard of that you all have very good, Mongolia has very good wool.
All right. Thank you very much, Mrs. Javadana, for those thoughts. I would now like to invite Mrs. Ayanti Gurusinghe, the founder and managing director of cord360, this this afternoon session's technology provider, which is a truly Sri Lankan e-commerce platform for global trade. It has been endorsed and approved by many governments from all around the world, trusting the platform to connect Sri Lankans with or together with their respective business communities. And she will be speaking to us on connecting buyers and sellers between Mongolia and Sri Lanka for online trade. She is also the secretary of the SAC SWEC Consultant National Industry Policy. Mrs. Gurusinghe, over to you.
Thank you for the introduction, Tarindu, and I also want to thank FCCISL and the Mongolian Chamber for making it possible for this webinar to happen. So just like the introduction given, cord360 is, I'm going to share with you how trade can be taken place and or the people can advertise their products, and a trade platform that is already in operation and where trade can really be very effective between the two countries. So I'm going to share my presentation and I'll take you through that very briefly. Give me just a moment. Yeah, so right. This is known as cord360.com. It's already a live website. All of you can go and see. So we say that cord360 was formed to connect buyers and sellers, and it's a global connecting platform. Right, sorry, I think I was a little unmute, but cord360 is the platform that connects buyers and sellers, and we connect all partners across the globe. So cord360 stands for we connect people, we open doors for buyers and sellers, we help them to be recognized in the international platform, and also we create a differentiation to compete with the international market opportunities. So what are the benefits that they have? A seller would receive inquiries when a buyer visits you. They can see your account and write to you directly when you register with cord360. Also, very few platforms have the facility of RFQs where buyers log in and they can put their request, and as sellers, members will have the opportunity to write to the buyers and to place their bids. And trade leads, this is very common, is where we also provide trade leads for all the sellers and the manufacturers to have the opportunity and write to them. So it's just like when you go to a trade exhibition where you pay so much of money and then you have to wait, you display your products and you wait for buyers to come and connect with you. So trade leads is also something we give you the buyers where you write to them, where you introduce your products. Perhaps it there's more chances for it to work for you, because you will be writing, you will share your pictures, you will share your profiles. And it's similar to going to an exhibition, but where you have more opportunities of connecting. We also help the members with priority destinations. That is where, we are available across 190 countries and 40 industries, and you could advertise in 8 different languages. So when it comes to priority destinations, sometimes you may first want to give your products to be advertised in the Eastern European countries. And then later, next quarter, you might feel, no, I want to try the South Asian countries. So you can decide on the destinations where you want to give priority for your products. So it gives you a very clear exposure to the products or to the destinations where you want to market the products. And the other thing is called deal strike. Deal strike is also where agents or where we do direct deals with the sellers, and where the buyer and the seller is known to connections of cord360. So we will liaise as an agent in between, ensuring the deal happens between the buyer and the seller. Also, we have something called trade assurance. This is where we secure your payments. We work with where we take the responsibility and we provide the buyer and the seller both trade assurance. So these are only a few. There are many benefits that we provide once you are a member of cord360, where you can trade and where you can connect and where you can find a buyer or a seller. So as we continue this discussion with Mongolia, there are very attractive products of Mongolia that Sri Lanka would be very interested, but may never have seen these products or may never even know. And similarly for Mongolia as well. So as a chamber, we can link with the Mongolian chamber in partnership with FCCISL's recommendation, and you could promote cord360. And because in Sri Lanka, we work very closely with FCCISL, and you could introduce products where people have opportunity not only just see the product, but they can see the profile, they can see the manufacturer, and they can have lots of information about the party that they are going to work with. So if you look at this, on my left-hand side, you see the most trending products. And then, as I told you, on the platform, we can advertise in 8 different languages. And we are, of course, very strong in the South Asian countries. And maybe with APTA countries, one by one, we are creating links. We are very strong with China, because our sister company also works with, we have many partnerships signed even with China. And we are one of the only organizations in Sri Lanka who are so strong in China. So Mongolia is very close, and we will always work with Mongolia as well. So we have a broad round. Actually, we work across 190 countries, but the countries you can see is on screen is some of the destinations that we are very strong. And even for Mongolian members, if you want to reach out even to states, even to Germany, even to UK, you can use the platform of cord360. Much as you connect with the Asian destinations, you can also showcase your products through the platform to other destinations. So these are some of the value-added services we provide. And then on your left-hand side, the partnerships are the partnerships that we work along with other partners, and we work with the chamber as well as we work with a lot of banks and other network in providing these partnerships. And on your right-hand side, you see what we do. We also do things like website development, social media management, and content management for people, and marketing your products as well. So when you, so chamber, for example, the Mongolian chamber, for the colleagues of Mongolia, as you listen now, you could partner and get more details from the Mongolian chamber, and we will provide all the information with FCCISL to the Mongolian chamber. We can provide all these services as well for you. And for the Sri Lankan colleagues who are listening today, you can directly work with us, and we have a special package for FCCISL members also signed up with cord360. You can be entitled for these special products as well when you engage yourself on cord360. So these are how the packages work. It's not too expensive at all when you compare to some of the world's #1 e-commerce platforms. It's just 1,700 per annum we charge. And then we also have, if you see the product seller, the pink star product is for women entrepreneurs. What we have a special package for them as well. So cord360 connects exporters to go beyond borders. It connects local traders to trade across with traders. It also encourages women entrepreneurs and SMEs and wannabe exporters as well to see how the market trends work and to move to the next level. If you remember those days, good old days, everybody would prepare a product and you would take it to the international exhibition and talk about your product. But now we also encourage people to design your product, see how it works, check the trends of the world. And then if you connect with a buyer, first you can outsource and ship it. Then later, maybe you can even source it or start manufacturing. So we have brought a change to the traditional marketing system. You don't have to make the wheel and do it, but now we work the other way around as well. You can market your products. So this gives a more opportunity for those, especially for the ones who want to be exporters, also have the opportunity to test the market, to learn about the market trends, and to be part of the export chain. So it's very simple how you become a member. You have to choose a simple package. As I said, with FCCISL, we have a special package for customers. It's a free package that they have undertaken to offer. And if you are a member of FCCISL for 1 year, there's a free package. And maybe we can work on a similar partnership for the Mongolian Chamber as well. A package where people can come and get themselves familiar and to start trading on international platforms. So you make the payment. Then we also don't entertain everyone who can't just come in. We do a verification process for all the sellers, and where all buyers would have confidence when they connect with a seller, it's a verified customer. So it's a simple process to follow, and we're always there. You can check us out on YouTube. The videos are there, and to learn how to register, all the details are there. You can follow us on Facebook for all the latest updates, because all information we keep posting. And then you visit www.cord360.com. You will see the site like this. And then look at the site. This is just a glimpse of the site. It's very transparent site. You will always see the latest buyers. On your left-hand side, in the middle, it keeps changing, latest sellers. And then also on the right, the corner of right-hand side, you have our partners. So we have various partners across the globe who are linked with us as agents, who are there. And definitely we warmly welcome the Mongolian Chamber also to become our partner so that you can promote this product. It's no cost involved. Promote the product, promote it as a value-added platform to your members so they could come and trade and expose themselves to the world. And also, again, just to repeat, it's 8 different languages. So if Chinese is available, I think Russian is available, but there are 8 different languages, and even we could go up to 15 different languages. And this is just to some of the, we always showcase our sellers that we have, some of them. And so these are some of the products that we have. We have trending products from Sri Lanka would be king coconut water, spices, cinnamon, authentic seeds and oil. So if anyone is interested, you could always connect with all these products. The contact details through us, and be connected with all these sellers directly, and then to enhance trade between Mongolia and Sri Lanka. So we also have a special offer that is going as free seller, which is available for all FCCISL customers. We could sign a similar package also for Mongolian Chamber for people to come and experience the site in working on platforms, which is the trend. And we keep saying, even though it's COVID-19, even though it's any disaster, when travel is restricted, yet trade should go on. So thank you for this is my presentation. So everything, even if you have any question, and if I'm not able to answer right now, or later you have a question, you can always visit us on Facebook. It's very transparent. Our partners, the engagements we have is visible for you to know who we are. And even on YouTube, all the details are there. Just log in, type cord360, CORD360, and I hope that, thank you once again for FCCISL and for the team for inviting us as well to do this presentation. I hope through our platform, we will be able to enhance trade and work together and make real use of the APTA agreement that we have in our countries, make trade more actively workable through this partnership, and we are always there to assist you. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie, for that very insightful presentation, and very proud to see a platform built in Sri Lanka being ready to assist businesses from the country, the region, and all over the world to be able to connect with each other and do trade with each other. As we all know, the future of trade is indeed digital, and this digital platforms of this nature are definitely empowering, enabling tools for businesses of any scale. And this is indeed quite good to see. The digital infrastructure being there will definitely enable more businesses starting from Sri Lanka and Mongolia to connect with each other and also trade with the rest of the world. We wish you good luck in this endeavor and this journey, and thank you once again for being our technology platform partner for this forum today. Thank you very much and wish you good luck.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is the honorary counsel for the honorary Sri Lankan counsel for Mongolia. She is Ms. Ogilma Dulunjin, who is the owner and director general of Santis Educational Services LLC and the president of the Commission on English Language Program Accreditation in Mongolia. Ms. Ogilma entered the Education Ministry in 1999 when Santis Educational Services was first founded, and since then have led the company to be one of the leading English language teaching institutions in the country. With her expertise and dedication, Ms. Ogilma is leading the implementation of international standards in all aspects of English language education in Mongolia, including instruction, quality control, testing, and assessment. And she will be speaking to the participants of this forum today on the potential business prospects in Mongolia. What kind of a landscape, business landscape, can the Sri Lankan businesses who are willing to partner with Mongolia expect? Ms. Dulunjin, over to you, and it's a pleasure to have you. And could we have Ms. Dulunjin on screen?
Yeah, I think she is there. Let's see.
Yeah, she's muted. Ms. Dulunjin, if you could just hold on for a minute until we unmute you. Ms. Dulunjin, can you unmute yourself? Okay, there you are. I believe we can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Excellent.
Hello from Mongolia.
Hello, and Ayubowan from Sri Lanka.
Well, I just learned about this virtual meeting.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just learned about this virtual meeting just last night.
Ms. Dulunjin, we can hear you. You can continue. You can go ahead.
Okay. So it's quite productive meeting. It's the very first meeting, B2B virtual business meeting. So really appreciate for organizers. So unfortunately, I just learned about this meeting last night, and then I wasn't scheduled to give us any speech officially. So just at the moment, I don't have much to say. So just all I can say is thank you very much for your attending and organizing This is the first that just absolutely opened the door for everybody who joined with this meeting at the moment. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. So thank you very much for sharing your sentiments with us. I believe you will have a pivotal role to play in bringing the Sri Lankan and the Mongolian businesses together in the future, as both countries are emerging out of a pandemic, facing their own unique challenges, but also looking at being dominant economies in the Asian region. And as we all know, Asia is said to be the key defining region, the most growing region economically in the coming decade and beyond. So thank you very much. And I believe that you will be of great service to the Sri Lankan businesses as well, and the Mongolian businesses in connecting the two in the upcoming years and the decade ahead. Thank you once again. I believe now it is time to showcase some of the companies that are present here today with us. A few companies that have shared their profiles. Auntie, could we have some of those companies projected? Any companies that have shared their profiles with us? So we have Earthscape, an exporter of earthware and coir-based products, agriculture. I believe sustainability is one of the key ways forward, and hygienic products, natural products is something which is of quite concern, as the entire consumer demands are and the consumer behavior patterns are shifting towards hygienic practices. And I believe Earthscape has the solution, especially with some of these very high quality earthware products, which could be of great value. And they also have very activated carbon-based organic products as well, including organic virgin coconut oil, which is today boasting of its potential health benefits, something that is a commodity that is becoming quite highly demanded as everyone is more focused on a hygienic and healthier lifestyle. So good luck to Earthscape, and thank you for sharing your profile with us today. I believe we can go to the next organization. We have HE Manufacturing and Trading Company. They have also shared their company profile with us. And if anyone is interested in connecting with any of these companies, they too are into making organic and natural products available to everybody everywhere in the world. I believe this is where digital platforms will have a pivotal role to play, as and cord360 is also ready to build on that and to provide the platform for these companies to take on the world. So if anyone who is keen on organic and natural products, for partnering, any kind of a joint venture, partnerships, for any business deals, you are most welcome to reach out to these businesses. And I believe that you can reach out to FCCISL as well, and they will be more than happy to connect you with these companies. I believe HE already has a market share in the US, has provided products and services to the US and met all those stringent quality requirements, the ones they have for beauty care products. So you are indeed obtaining a high quality product with a very good success rate. So we wish HE Manufacturing and Trading Company also all the very best for their endeavor, and thank you very much for sharing your profile with us for this forum. I think we could go for the next one. If there are any representatives of these companies, you are most welcome to speak. We could open the forum for you for 1 or 2 minutes for you to speak, share your thoughts as well. Meanwhile, I believe Ayanti is having a small corporate video for us.
Important regulatory and procedural information related to export and import on a single, easy-to-search platform. Trade information portal. Start with the home.
Yeah, I believe we had a little technical issue there. And if I can know the name of that business. If I could just know the name of the company on which the profile you tried to share, I could definitely give a little bit of an introduction on it. if there's any business.
Just hold on. I think it's a video clip, so we're also just looking into the details.
No issues. Meanwhile, if there is any business organization from Mongolia or Sri Lanka who is present here who would like to speak for a minute or two and explain about their company and share their thoughts, we would be very happy to share the forum with you. That's what we are here for. We are the facilitators. You are the voice for the business communities of Mongolia and Sri Lanka. And giving your voice an opportunity to be heard is what these forums are all about.
Hello, Tharindu. I'm Chaminda from Oral Corporation.
Yes, Chaminda. We are all waiting for the Oral store to shop using new technologies. But please do go ahead.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much. I'll be very quick since there are so many companies. Just to give you a flavor, we are a third generation private family-owned company already presented in 34 countries and in 6 continents.
Chaminda, could I request you to switch on your camera? Chaminda, could I request you to switch on your camera?
I don't recommend it, Tharindu, right now.
All right. We are all working from home. Well, we are all working from home. I get it. The last visit to the salon was many, many weeks ago. I understand. Please go ahead.
Thank you for your understanding. It won't be a pretty sight if I do. Our core business is very much related to construction industry. We are Sri Lanka's #1 company for switches, sockets, all sorts of lighting solutions, cables, again, a complete product range. We have the networking capabilities. So those are our core products, switches and sockets and cables and lights. We are known, very well known in the industry for Orange Electric switches, sockets, lights and cables. Then we have diversified our business for another 8 business pillars. They go in as digital commerce, artificial intelligence, that I'm sure Oral IT will represent that. We even represent health sector, education sector, etc. But what in this forum specifically, what we are inviting is anyone interested in Mongolia that who would like to have a partnership in terms of having an either a distributorship or even on a e-commerce platform where we could have our products where Mongolian customers can purchase. Mongolia's either customers directly or Mongolian direct dealers or distributors who would like to sell our core products that are related to construction industry. So anyone builds a apartment, a house, hotel, any kind of building, we would have the total solutions in terms of switches, sockets, all sorts of lighting solutions, and many other related products.
Thank you, Chaminda. Thank you very much for sharing the details of your business. And I believe that there will be multiple parties interested to partner with you and work on potential business agreements into the future. Thank you once again, and good luck to you and your company.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you, everyone.
Our Trade Information Portal is a progressive initiative led by the Department of Commerce. Its purpose is to provide important regulatory and procedural information related to export and import on a single, easy-to-search platform. To explore the Trade Information Portal, start with the home page. Select language from Sinhalese, English or Tamil. The home page features information on laws and tariff, non-tariff measures, procedures, forms, trade agreements, guides to exports and imports, SPS/TBT inquiry points, and market intelligence information. The sidebar on the right features Members area, advanced search options for trade information, news, publications, and other useful links. With the advanced search options for trade information, you can look up commodities and their tariff rates, measures, standards, and procedures. You can also download legal documents and forms for the products you're looking for. To find a complete list of all the commodities, click on List All on the Commodities and Tariffs page. Expand the links for further details on the categories and subcategories of these commodities. For commodity-specific search, type in either the HS code or a keyword. If you want to search for more than one keyword, separate them with a comma. If you want to search for a phrase or a specific combination of keywords, enclose the words in quotation marks. You can also look up information about specific products by typing in the product name, product family, product technical name. To find responsible or issuing agencies, or with a date range. View, save or print PDF versions of the legal documents in English and in most instances Sinhalese and Tamil by clicking on the language icons. You can also look up forms using keywords, agency names or categories. The Sri Lanka Trade Information Portal is implemented and supported by the Department of Commerce, the National Trade Facilitation Committee, Australian Aid and the World Bank.
Thank you, Antti. Yet another enabling digital portal to connect Sri Lankan businesses with the rest of the world. And kudos to the ministry for developing that portal and coming up with it. Do we have any more profiles to be shared, Antti? Yes, I believe we have a few more. Right, so we have.
I am.
Hello, yes. I believe we have a representative from JAT Holdings as well.
Yeah, I'm Jacob. I'm a senior manager JAT Holdings for the international trade.
Excellent. Jacob, all yours. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Tarindu. Actually, JAT Holdings since 1993 started in Sri Lanka, and last 26 years, one of the conglomerate in Sri Lanka. We are the pioneer wood coating supplier and distributor, and the in Asia Pacific #1 exporter in Sri Lanka. The product from Italy, world-renowned brand called Selac. Selac is the product which is come under world-renowned company called Sherwin-Williams. So not only Sri Lankan we are in the Asia Pacific and Southeast Asia, one of the largest distributor up to now, and our major markets are even Maldives, Seychelles, Mauritius, Pakistan, India, and we are very big in Bangladesh as well, because we have a good force in Bangladesh. We are supplying to one of the major largest wood furniture manufacturers. So out of that, we do manufacture our product called Brushmaster. The Brushmaster is one of the 5 times durable product, and we do largest manufacturing process in Sri Lanka and distribution network as well. Now we are looking for a good partner for the Mongolia as Bangladesh, and I hope we can do it. Thank you, Tarindu.
Thank you very much, Jacob. Jacob, now one thing that has always amazed me about JAT Holdings is one of your projects, which was petal paint, where you took
exactly
and you converted it into paint. I could give you about 1 minute if you could elaborate, because I believe that's an innovation in the right direction for any industry in Sri Lanka. Please do enlighten us on how that came about.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Tarindu. Actually, petal paint, because my experience in paint field last 26 years. I'm traveling a lot of countries, but I never seen like a petal paint. How this paint is manufactured, we can't believe. That's taken from the flower, exactly essence from the flower to create a paint, and it is applied to the statues. Marvelous, because this will be giving a natural to natural, we can say. That is the real truth. That's why the petal paint is a very, it's a innovative, and we can say not only innovative, it's a real natural thing, because people now the people need to natural, no? So we are giving the natural to the people. That is why we always like petal paints, and it's we are not highly production, that with the certain segments only we supply to give these petal paints. Thank you, Tariq.
Keep up the good work and do keep on setting the trends in the field of innovation for your sectors. Jacob, wish you and Jet Holdings all the best. Tea is indeed, they say, the miraculous herb, called the herb from the gods sometimes, but it's indeed one of our main exports to the rest of the world as well. Here we have featuring a tea company, a tea exporter, Canrick Tea Beverages, Sri Lanka since 1972, the largest diversified private label social enterprise network. Do we have a representative from Canrick Tea? Well, it's a company with a heritage indeed, just like the tea industry in Sri Lanka. So if anyone is interested, I believe they could obtain the company profile of Canrick Tea. Anyone, and indeed tea is the main export from Sri Lanka to Mongolia. So if anyone is interested in creating their own private label together with Canrick, or if they are keen on developing a potential business partnership, looking into potential value additions, well, you have the opportunity where the Canrick Tea company will be willing to partner with you for carrying out any potential business into the future. Do keep in mind that despite the high competition, there is nothing that can beat the aroma of a cup of true Ceylon tea. Auntie, do we have any more companies to feature?
Yes, we have one more company, but that will go under cord360 label, but it's another company. Hold on.
Sure, no problem.
This is the video.
I believe it's paused. All right. Thank you very much, Auntie, for sharing that information. We also have one more brand that wishes to be featured. I'm receiving it from Mr. Ajit, the Secretary General of FCCISL. Royal Touch Pure Ceylon. If anyone is interested in partnering with this tea manufactured with this tea brand, you are most welcome to connect with FCCISL. They too will put you in touch with them. So Royal Touch, I am loading that information as we speak. Unfortunately, I'm unable to share it with you over here. But yes, the Ceylon Tea Royal Touch was created solely to allow the whole world to enjoy wonderful aroma of tea, the pearly tear of Hindustan, as they say. And over the years, they have worked up their way, trying to combine age-old traditions together with advanced technologies of the tea leaf growing and processing. So they too are a company that is keeping the fine art and the craft of making tea alive and taking it to the world, modernizing it with new technology. So anyone who is interested in partnering with them, you are most welcome to connect with FCCISL. You can speak to Mr. Ajit Pereira, who is the Secretary General, from whom you will be hearing soon. And that is yet another pure Ceylon tea brand that you can partner with. So Mongolia, to all the Mongolian businesses that are here today, I would like to invite you as well that this is your opportunity to partner and go forward in the world of trade. And definitely the future of trade is digital, and we will be able to use platforms such as cord360 and empower our businesses and do trade digitally as we move on into the future. I believe it is time for a video to be played. But before we do that, and if I would just like to ask, is there any businessman or any business entrepreneur from Mongolia? Is there any businessman or any entrepreneur from Mongolia who would like to speak? This is your forum. I believe. And can you please mute everyone? And if we could please mute everyone, thank you. All right, if there's any party from any organization or representative from Mongolia who would like to speak? Okay, would like to open the forum for them at this point. If not, you can always send me a direct message and I will have you unmuted so you can speak as well. I think we could play the video. Thank you very much. Yes, this is about the potential for information technology and business process outsourcing business activities for Sri Lanka.
eBay Enterprise Bus, handling 149 million active buyers with 700 million listings and $200+ billion commerce. The world's fastest trading platform, London Stock Exchange, with 20,000 round-trip orders per second with 50 nanosecond latency. Award-winning, world's fastest expanding airline with 44+ million passengers and 180+ aircraft. Emirates Airline Reservation System, ERP system for Three Gorges Dams, which is the world's largest hydropower dam, generating 22.5 gigawatts of electricity. Bahrain MGov solution, 55 MGov apps, 2.2 million users. British Telecom billing system with 18 million subscribers in 170 countries. Expedia, one of the largest travel companies, listing 260,000+ hotels worldwide. 400+ airlines. Dozens of rental car companies and cruise lines, with bookings exceeding $39.4 billion USD. Microsoft's live search engine are all powered by Sri Lankan-built software. Gartner says that Sri Lanka ranks in the top 30 locations for offshore services. UK's National Outsourcing Association selected Sri Lanka for the Offshoring Destination of the Year award for 2 consecutive years. A.T. Kearney ranked Sri Lanka 16th in the Global Services Location Index. Internationally reputed companies such as Microsoft, Intel, Accenture, HSBC, London Stock Exchange Group, WNS, Motorola, Pearson, IFS, R.R. Donnelley, CMA CGM, Virtusa, Copalamba, WSO2, First Source, Attune, and CAMS have set up R&D and offshore delivery centers in Sri Lanka. 1,000+ ICT workforce is projected to grow to 200,000 by 2022, and its current 40% IT first for 9 consecutive years. A pool of 140,000, the largest pool of UK qualified accountants outside the UK, being the first South Asian country to establish recognize Sri Lanka by naming it the only South Asian country to provide uninterrupted power supply. Sri Lanka ranks #1 in South Asia in World Bank's Ease of Doing Business and has a modern international airport with more than 20 international airlines serving direct flights to many worldwide destinations. Many companies are viewing Sri Lanka as a natural complement to their operations. Perhaps you should too. For more information, visit www.srilankaitbpm.org.
Thank you very much, Andy. Do we have any more videos? Do you have any videos to be played?
One last one, and then we can close.
All right.
cord360 is an international business-to-business trade platform connecting buyers and sellers. You are entitled to access over 1,000 international trade leads when you register with cord360. You can advertise in 6 different languages, breaking all possible barriers over 6 regions across the world. Sellers are connected to buyers directly to trade, which means you can market your own product and negotiate prices at your own pace. Come grow your business to international heights by simply registering with cord360.
Thank you very much, Auntie, and once again wish you and cord360 all the best as well. Before we go to the conclusion, I believe we have a young businessman from Kandy, Kamesh Vikramasinghe, I believe is his name. Let me get his details correct here. From KCT APTA, Kamesh Vikramaratne. Kamesh, we could indeed open the forum for you for 2 minutes to speak and introduce your business to us as well. Kamesh, over to you.
Yeah, hi, Paradu. So I'm from KCT Candy Apples. So we are mainly doing men's clothes, but we doing a lot of clothes items in our garment. So we did some export items, mainly Emirates security form. So anyone like to connect with us? So mostly we come to that job, and thank you for this opportunity to having these great ideas and great things. Thank you.
Excellent to hear that, and wish you all the best as well. What is indeed encouraging is the enthusiasm, the optimism shown by entrepreneurs and businesses from both Sri Lanka and Mongolia to continue to do trade, because as the saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And what is also further indeed inspiring is to see the interest from both the ambassadors from Mongolia and from Sri Lanka as well, to be able to, or rather the willingness to encourage trade to take place. So definitely with the authorities providing support and also the businessmen and the entrepreneurs taking the right initiatives, I think we are definitely heading in the right direction to further boost ties between Sri Lanka and Mongolia. And I know Ajit is roaring to go with his inspiring conclusion, but there is one more entrepreneur, there's one more representative from a company present here today who would like to take a minute and speak. I think request Ahmad Arus from Raincoat to have the opportunity to speak. Ahmad, over to you. And can we please mute everyone else, please? It's quite disturbing, I believe, for the others. Thank you. Ahmad, over to you. You got a minute.
Hello, good evening, everyone, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself and the organization I represent. My name is Ahmed, and I'm actually the export manager at Maxens Holdings, Sri Lanka. We are popularly renowned for our paint brand called Multilac Paints, and we are having established in 1970. We are a 50-year-old company, highly established in the export sector, having exported to over 15 countries. We are the first paint company in Sri Lanka to be lead safe certified and the third in the entire world. And we are currently looking for partners in the construction industry in Mongolia for paints. And we are also into tiles, glazed ceramic tiles, and we are also looking for partners in the glazed ceramic tiles sector. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for who organized this, for giving us this platform, and wish you all well.
Thank you very much, Ahmed, for those words and for sharing your company details. My apologies on getting the organization name wrong. You're from Maxens Holdings indeed, and good luck in the future endeavors and the journey of your enterprise. With all participants who wish to speak being given the opportunity, and I believe all voices have been heard, it is now time to have the concluding remarks of this wonderful session which we have held today. And this would not have been possible if not for the untiring efforts of many people, but one such significant person is none other than the Secretary General and the CEO of the Federation of Chambers of Commerce and Industries, or the FCCISL of Sri Lanka, who is Mr. Ajit Pereira, an ardent fan and a big promoter and advocate for free trade and international trade between countries. I would like to introduce, it is indeed an honor and privilege to introduce him to you. Mr. Ajit D. Pereira started his career as a banker and held senior management positions in the corporate sector in Sri Lanka, UK, UAE, Bangladesh, and India. So he's quite well-rounded in terms of his experience across all regions of the business world. And he has a sound knowledge in business dynamics and the international business environment. He is currently the Secretary General CEO for FCCISL. He has represented FCCISL in many international forums and actively involved in the SAARC Trade Promotion Network funded by GIZ in Nepal. And he has also served as a member of the Constitutional Review Committee for the year 2015-16 at the SAARC Chamber of Commerce and Industry located in Pakistan. With that introduction, I would like to invite Mr. Ajit D. Pereira to take over the proceedings and share his concluding remarks of this wonderful, enthralling business forum, which is indeed the first, but would set the tone for many such interesting forums between Mongolia and Sri Lanka into the future. Mr. Ajit, over to you.
Thank you, and I go on to everybody. I hope you can am I audible? Hello, can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Yeah, okay. I greeted everybody saying Ayubowan, which is the customary greeting style of Sri Lanka. The meaning is enduring life, which is very much relevant one in the context of pandemic faced by the world. Even though Mongolia and Sri Lanka are two distant countries, but have many things in common. The Asian hospitality, respect for elders, spiritual leadership by Buddhism are some of the key aspects commonly shared by two countries. FCCISL, Asia Pacific region as the business center for Sri Lanka long time ago. Working hard, building bridges within Asia Pacific region in the past few years. Our efforts were not wasted. FCCISL ended up in bringing the private sector of all 7 APTA countries onto one platform called Asia Pacific Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is headquarters in Beijing. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is divided today due to many the political and security issues. And what we hope, that's only one thing that can help the world unite on one platform, that is trade and investment. So I would like to say that trade between countries help unite them irrespective the differences of opinion and differences of any other the matters of their concerns. Also, we believe that seeing is believing. FCCISL shall visit Mongolia once the travel restrictions are relaxed by both countries. And I hope this visit will be of very importance to the traders and investors from both countries. I hope today's interaction laid down the foundation for both countries to learn each other, which is an important factor leading to trading. In fact, our first assessment about this interaction, we really expected only 5 countries each to take part, 5 countries from each country to take part. In fact, the registration has gone far beyond our expectations. It went up to 30, which is a great number when we consider the fact this is the first ever interaction between 2 countries. So with those memories, I am sure that the both chambers can be happy. And I would like to thank all speakers, Mongolian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, its focal point, especially Ms. Dona, and also the head of foreign relations, Ms. Amgalan, our technical partners, cord360, and excellent moderation done by our Tarindu, and all participants for their joining and showing the interest. I feel that the enthusiasm will end up in real business one day, because we see that business of the business is to do business. It's a very famous saying. So with that, I would like to conclude my the closing remark, and I wish everybody a great journey, and the Mongolian participants can talk to the Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce for the Sri Lankan trading links, and all the participants can write to us, the FCCISL, for the trade links in Mongolia. Thank you very much. I thank you all, everybody, to all the speakers and all the participants. Very good evening, and stay safe. And we hope to see you, all of you, once again in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ajit, for those concluding remarks, which indeed sums up the tone and the flamboyance that this online business forum, the very first one, though definitely not the last, and the very first Mongolia Sri Lanka online business forum was indeed held in the best of spirit, the best of intentions, and also there was quite a good flair and a flamboyance regarding the session that was carried out throughout the whole forum. And indeed, I'm sure that members from both parties, both countries have benefited from this. One could only hope that this small step, they say a journey of 1,000 miles always starts with one step. And this first step, no doubt, will ignite further business relationships, successful business partnerships between the countries, and rekindle the business communities of our two nations, and make them work in collaboration towards a win-win approach, so that they can benefit from these trade deals, benefit from the mutual understanding with each other, and explore business opportunities together. Because like I mentioned earlier, win-win mindset, win-win approach, win-win collaboration should be the only win, looking at the highly competitive business world that is ahead of us. Indeed, Asia is moving away from being the factory of the world to being the consumer and the dominant growing economic region of the world. And when that happens, the opportunities that will arise along with it, to exploit them, the more collaborations and partnerships we have, that will definitely benefit both the Sri Lankan and Mongolian business entities. And with that, I would like to also remind that this forum will be open for 45 minutes more for business-to-business sessions, where we encourage the participants to have private discussions with each other through chat. And also you can introduce yourselves openly in the chat, and then you all could take some of the discussions to private chat rooms. And the forum with this Zoom platform will be open, enabling you to do that as well. Once again, I would sincerely like to thank everyone who has participated, the ambassadors from the two respective countries, and also all our speakers, Dr. Mia and Ms. Shirley, and also our platform provider for this afternoon, which is cord360. Thank you for the technical support enabled. And would also like to thank FCCISL for this wonderful opportunity presented to me to be a part of this very exciting and very first Mongolia Sri Lanka online business forum. Wishing both countries and the business communities all the very best. This is Tharno Amrasekara signing off from this afternoon's moderation activities. Ayubowan once again, and may you all stay safe, and may you have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you very much.